that was a 300-mile attempt. On the 300-mile attempt, it didn't really go very well. Yeah, the bike was getting a bit battered as well. I noticed a sort of defect in the front tyre because basically the front tyre was so old. I'd done all my training rides on it, and I sort of felt a bit of a bump on it on a nice smooth road. And I put my hand on the tyre as it was going round. There was a bit of a bump there. So I sort of, after the sort of failed 300-mile attempt, I sort of put new wheels on with new tyres and a new chain. And sort of the next day, even though my legs were knackered from the hard ride, the bike felt great. It had a nice new chain and nice new tyres on it. That was really nice. The other thing I had with the bike was the tri-bar pads. Tri-bar pads that I started on day one, brand new, but they were a lot thicker than that when I started. Also had a spot on the elbow on day one, just a zip to start with, but it was a bit painful when I started because it was literally on the pad when I was riding on the tri-bars pretty much all the time. And I ended up with a great big lump on my arm where this zip had been on the tri-bars, and but that didn't bother me too much. But then the tri-bar pads, they just got crushed because I was spending so long on the tri-bars, and the pads just got thinner and thinner. And after about 2 weeks, my elbows were getting quite uncomfortable and sore, so I got another old set of tri-bar pads. You can see how thin that is there, but even that bit's been sort of squashed. They were a lot thicker than that when I started, so I was sort of, because they're on Velcro, I was sort of spinning around like that to try and get a bit of padding that wasn't crushed to death, and paper thin. And I eventually took these off because these got crushed pretty quickly, and I basically pinched a set of pads off a set of profile tri-bars for the last 1 or 2 weeks, and they were a lot better for the rest of the month. If I want to do the year record, I'm going to use profile pads, I think. They seem to not get crushed so easy. They do in time, because I've been using them before, but they do seem to last quite well compared to all the others I've had. About a week after the failed 300-mile ride, there was going to be a southern wind followed by a northern wind, and that works well for me going up to Gaul and back where there's a hotel. And I sort of started to change my plan of riding when I went up to Gaul. I sort of rode up there as usual, trying to keep up the power output I was sort of trying to ride to, but it was getting a struggle. The first few days it felt easy, then it was starting to get quite difficult. Even though if I was fresh, it'd be easy to keep that power output up. After a few weeks, or even a week or so, I was sort of struggling to ride at that power output. So I got to Gaul by the Humber, and I got to the hotel, I think about 11 at night. Of course, you check into a hotel at night, they're not going to be serving food or anything. So I went to the petrol garage, a 24-hour garage next door, filled my pockets up with food, and sort of thought, well, if I can't eat in the hotel, I'll have my supper on the road, and that means I can just ride a bit easier. And that's what I did. Instead of riding a bit faster and finishing at 11, I just eased off a bit and thought, well, I'll have my supper while I'm moving on the road. And I sort of filled the pockets up and just ate on the move and rode near enough to York and back just while having my supper. And I thought, actually, this is really good. I could ride a bit easier and still get the miles done. That means because I'm doing an extra hours riding a day, I can go a bit easier in a day. So instead of fighting to ride at the power output I think I should be riding it, I can just ease off now and then. So that's what I did. I ended up sort of eating on the road for the last hour of the day, and it also meant that, I'd get to bed a bit earlier from when I got in, so I didn't have to actually cook anything to eat. The other thing with eating on the road was what was happening when I was sort of finishing a day is I was just falling asleep. I had to be very quick putting all my batteries on charge from the bike, the lights and the GPSs, because if I didn't do it quick enough I'd fall asleep. First thing I always did when I got home was get the batteries on charge. Quite often what happened after I'd done that is I'd go and get something to eat, and I quite often fell asleep while eating it. So eating on the road, having a supper on the road, sort of got rid of that problem as well. And it also meant that I was eating more because I was sort of, before I was finishing a ride and trying to eat before I fell asleep, I thought, well, if I don't eat as much, I'll eat it quicker. But because I was out on the road moving, I thought, well now I've got all the, I can just spend an hour eating. I'm still moving. And all I've got to do when I get home is sort of put the batteries on charge, put all the clothes in the washing machine and get to bed. So that's less work to do at the end of the day. That sort of didn't work out that well because what I did with the GPSs, at the start of the month I set everything up so it's very simple. All I had to do was finish the ride, plug my GPS into the computer, just get the GPS, plug it into the computer. Garmin Connect would take all the rides out of that GPS unit, put it on Strava, all done automatic, so I didn't have to worry about that. The only trouble was the GPS I had was pretty old and it was full of data, and it got full up, and it meant that it wasn't recording the ride, so I ended up ditching that GPS. I had two backup GPSs. I brought a brand new 520 just for the month record because I knew that the 510 was sort of getting on a bit and a bit shaky, and I didn't want to rely on just one GPS that was struggling a bit, so I've got this brand new 520. But because the 510 was already set up for Garmin Connect, I thought I'd use that as a master GPS, just to save messing around. I could have turned the 520 into the master GPS, but the trouble is with doing that, I'd have had to delete all my old rides, because as soon as you plug a GPS into Garmin Connect, it'll suck every single file out of there, any recorded ride, and it'll put it all on Strava, so I'd have ended up with loads of duplicates on Strava, and I didn't really want to mess around with deleting stuff, and I didn't like the idea of deleting sort of records of rides, just in case something went wrong with the UMCA or something. You probably wouldn't. I wasn't keen on deleting rides, so I just uploaded it manually to Strava from the 520, and that was still pretty simple. You just plug it in and go on a Strava and click on a few things and it's done. But then I ended up with a few more problems because the computer it sort of had a problem with the internet connection. I don't know what it was. I fixed it now, but I didn't bother with it then. I just didn't want to risk sort of being up all night trying to get this computer going again. So I got my old computer out, which runs on Windows XP, and it's really decrepit old thing. It's taken about 10 minutes to upload a page. I still managed to get my rides uploaded Strava in time.